Hey, Kirk, what do you think separates John Michael from other centers?
Um, I don't know. I don't really spend a lot of time watching other team centers, but he's a great athlete. He's super intelligent. He's super tough. Plays with great pad level and leverage. He's the best center I've been around in my career. So I'm just thankful we have him. Loves to play the game, so he loves to practice. Um, he's got everything.
Kirk, what about your week of preparation puts you in such a good mood this morning or this afternoon?
I just love this job. No, I honestly like our kids really. Just the way they come to work every day and um, their commitment. And why they do it for each other. Um, it's fun. This group is fun to be around. I haven't always, the results haven't always been fun. But this group of kids is fun to be around, and you just enjoy coaching them.
What about Mo's understanding of the offense? Do you feel like gives him an advantage here this year as opposed to before?
He's always been, really intelligent. Kenny does a great job of, not just teaching them what their footwork is and, where their eyes should be, but understanding the scheme and how the different fronts it can turn out a little bit, what to anticipate. You can't ever assume at the running back position, what's going to happen, but you can anticipate. And he does a great job of help setting up the blockers and but that's because he understands the scheme and who everybody's supposed to block and how they're supposed to do it. So I think he does an outstanding job of I call it assists. He assists the offensive linemen with their blocks by pressing a hole on an outside run, hugging the outside edge of the hole on an inside run, hugging the inside edge of the hole. Just all the little things that people don't really notice. Everybody knows he's super talented and a great back, but the film study that he does and the extra work with Kenny that he does, people don't see that. There's when you're a great player and he's a great player. I don't think anyone can argue that with me. There's usually a lot of little things that go into that besides just your talent that you have, and he has all those little things that that it takes to be great. Because great players are great every day, and he's great every day.
Mo talked about wanting to see what he saw on that 28-yard run in the fourth quarter all day. Is there any insights you can share about what you guys were waiting for at that particular juncture he saw at that time?
He saw a big hole. Um, you know, we wore them down,
Yeah.
and so the hardest thing for a running back is when you don't win the neutral zone. The further you win in the neutral zone, the easier it is for them to see the cuts and to press those blocks and do it. And we knocked them back off the ball, and they were overplaying the cutback, and he took it out the front door. Um, he did the rest. I mean, with it. And I think sometimes too. I think what Kenny does a great job with the backs is telling them to be decisive and really trust what they see. Because sometimes there's two right answers to the problem. You could either cut it back or bounce it out the front side on our tight zone stuff that we do. And the most important thing, though, is you can't question yourself. You've got to be decisive, and trust what you see and accelerate through that hole. And he does a great job of that.
Kirk, what's your assessment of the vertical passing game right now?
Um, that's a good question. I think that we're growing at the receiver position every day. Um, I I like how we're trending there. I think the game, if you're talking about the game on Saturday, um, I think the game just didn't dictate uh, to take that shot in the second half. At least I didn't feel that way. I think like twice I called shot plays and they weren't in the right coverage for it, and we checked out of them. But I didn't feel like we needed to force the issue. Um, you know, we got to get better at it. You know, it's got to become a component for us with it. You know, and so I mean, we just got to be better at it. I need to call more shots down the field. But I wasn't. It wasn't. I thought our guys competed against a good secondary um, on Saturday. I didn't feel like they were overmatched. You know, like I'm not going to call a shot play if I feel like we're overmatched. It's not going to work, right? And I don't care. I don't care what other people have to say. You know, with that, you know, if I don't think it's going to work, I'm not going to do it. You know, but I really, so I was watching the game and watching the way our receivers were playing, and it wasn't from lack of confidence in them that I didn't call them. I just felt like the game, the way the game was being played, dictated us to do other things than that. I thought we did a good job in the first half of using the passing game to help us stay efficient and keep us on the field and allow the big plan was to try to be able to wear them down, you know, with it, and I felt like we did that. And I think in the second half, I was more disappointed in the couple of penalties that we had that stopped our drives. Now we got to get better, and we got to be able to recover from that. You know, like that's where, you know, I'd like to see us continue to grow, is to be able to recover from those type of things a little bit better. And still be able to convert the first down and stay on the field. So, but, you know, it's like everything, we need to get better at it. And, you know, hopefully this week, you know, we'll get an opportunity to dial up some shot plays and we'll hit them and make it work.
Kirk, what impresses you about the Nebraska defense?
I think they're big and strong. They play hard. Their scheme is their 3-4 scheme is a scheme that, you know, kind of gives our offense a little bit of trouble at times. You know, they're a little harder to move out of there, you know, with it. They're going to play their gaps, hold their gaps. You know, I'd rather you be moving around than anchoring down in there. I think the other thing that makes them hard, too, is the change in the defensive coordinators. You know, you only have a limited sample of what he likes. What does he really want to do? What are the things that he wants to hang his hat on? I always think that's a challenge. You know, what they've done in the past, how much of that are they going to do? You know that he's adding something every week. You can see that on the film. So, you know, you don't really have a great feel for that going into the game. For me, I hate that. You know, with it. So, but, you know, they played hard. They're tough. They're strong. Their secondary's athletic. It'll be a good challenge.
Stood out mid-season wise on Sunday Night Football?
Christian Hoskins has stood out. Jameson has stood out. Trying to think who else. They're probably the biggest guys that have stood out to me. A couple of the running backs have looked pretty good, you know, with it. We got a couple of young linemen that are showing toughness. You know, but they're nowhere near ready to play. So, like, you could critique their technique, you know, for a while with it. But it's been good. This Sunday was the first time we were able to do it in a couple weeks.
Time for one or two more for Coach.
What were your overall impressions of the O-line's execution in the ground game versus Rutgers?
I thought we did a good job. I really did. I thought they, we thought Rutgers would end up throwing a lot of stuff at us. Rutgers is a very good defense. You look at their numbers, and it's with playing Ohio State. They're giving up 20 points a game, 280 yards a game. That's pretty good defense, with it. But I thought our guys, did a good job of handling the different looks and the different pressures Joe threw at us. Joe, had a nice advantage of knowing what were some of the pressures that might give us trouble. But we also knew that he knew that. So we were, spent a lot of time practicing that type of stuff, and I thought the guys handled it pretty well. It wasn't perfect. It never is. They have good players, obviously. But I just thought they did a really good job of they were consistent with it and just stuck with it, and just kept responding to each drive, with it. And we kept telling them that they'll come spitting out sooner or later, these runs. Let's just stay efficient, get on the right people, let's win the neutral zone, all the things we're always preaching. But I thought they did a good job with the different looks and the different movements that he threw at us.
Anything else for Coach? All right, Coach. Thank you for joining us today.
Awesome. See you guys. Take care.
Thanks, Kirk.